Okay, so we are fresh out of Ludwig and we are heading to the research hall to hit the living failures and my favorite boss in all of Soulsborne, Lady Maria. I love that fight. This build is different. This is my first time doing anything like this for YouTube, recording a playthrough of anything, and I'm not great with technology. Similar to what happened in Yahar Ghul, I ran the research hall up to Orphan, Fishing Hamlet, and it didn't record, so I just lost all of that. So this is a build that I had sort of kind of ready to go in case something happened, and it's a little different, but for the most part the same. So that's that. I don't fight these two right here. I just go to the research hall and I run it on the way to living failures. I don't do everything there is to do in the research hall. I don't get the milkweed rune. I don't get the black sky eye. I don't get the key to Yamamura's cell. I don't do none of that. All I do is run it. So if you want those things, tons of helpful guides to show you how to, 100% the research hall and get every item. So I don't do that. I just run it to the living failures. And this is a good farming area too in the DLC if you need echoes. You can farm the regular enemies, or you can wait until you raise the lift, and then there will be a bunch of crawling enemies along the ground, and they give a lot of echoes, and they're fucking easy to kill. So these enemies hit really fucking hard. You don't want to get hit by them, and you definitely don't want to get hit by the enemies carrying the IV poles. So I would exercise much caution running through this fucking area. So even here, the blue elixir, you're always going to be within aggro range because of how narrow the stairs are. So I just take care of them because I don't want to get hit and waste files. I'd rather waste a second or two trying to kill them because this isn't a fucking speed run. Who gives a fuck, right? Good tea. So right now, Bloodborne is free on PSN, and many more people are coming to Yarnum. They're experiencing the game for the first time, whether or not it's their first Souls experience, who knows. But more people are at least being active, we'll say, on in the community. And by the community, I mean like Facebook groups, Reddit groups. More people are coming in and talking about the game, asking for help. Way more of a surge in co-op PvP activity. I like to do that with that NPC hunter because fuck him. So yeah, it's really cool to see more people coming in. One thing that I've noticed, and so I'll say this: I have been active in like certain communities for a very, very long time. In the very, very early fucking days of the internet, like old AOL chat rooms and shit, talking about early PS1 games. Yeah, I mean, it's if I'm showing my age, fuck it. But even just in real life groups, like having groups of people that would meet at the arcade, for like Mortal Kombat 2, shit like that. So long time member of groups like this, and my experience is 99%ish, I would say, always been very positive. People are helpful and awesome. You meet a lot of really cool people. You share a love of the game. Share strategies and tips and tricks, all this shit. Talk about lore. Just have a good time. And now, with the internet being the internet, you run into trolly people and people there just, to kick shit up and get on your nerves and everything. They're easy to dismiss. You sort of know their agenda, so they're easy to, you can just ignore that shit. But the thing that I've noticed is sort of an increase in elitist behavior. And this is different than trolly behavior, okay? The elitist behavior comes from these people who feel like they are an authority on the game, and they sort of speak about it from a place of authority. where they feel like, you know, they understand the game better than anybody. How dare you ask like a newbie question, you know, that they've heard before? That's the brain maiden. You give her the brain fluids. Kill her. Get her brain fluid. Give her her own brain fluid after she comes back to life. She'll give you the milkweed rune. And I think the key to the balcony where you get the black sky eye. I don't do that. So, yeah, these sort of elitist fucks, you know, who aren't helpful in any way. Like, they're not even dicks and then helpful. They're just not even fucking helpful. They're just rude and irritating. And they come across as if new players are an offense, you know, or if you disagree with them in some way, if you point out another way to play the game, or if you point out maybe the shortcomings of a certain build, they just don't want to fucking hear it because you're wrong, right? Never mind that people have different play styles and what suits one person might not suit another. Never mind any of that shit. They don't care about that. If you don't agree with them or play the game the way they think it ought to be played, then you're a fucking casual and you're a piece of shit and your mom should get cancer, or, you know, whatever the fuck, you know. It's the worst part of the community, you know. I think that's worse than trolls. You know, at least trolls can be dismissed. You know, people expect trolls, I think, for the most part, but elitist people, I mean, they just, I feel like they don't ruin the experience because they're kind of few and far between, but they certainly can turn people away, and they sort of give the community a bad name. You don't see it as much in Soulsborne as you do in something like Call of Duty, but when it's present in these communities, my god, I mean, it's such AIDS. You know, especially like the one, like I see it fairly often with people who are proud, let's say, that they beat a difficult boss, like somebody beats Orphan, or something like that, and then they talk about it, and then because they beat Orphan at like level 120 or something like that, or because they took 10 minutes to do it, you know, somehow it makes them a bad player because they didn't do it at blood level 4 in 20 seconds, you know, like some sort of god mode bullshit. And it's just disheartening, you know. But it is what it is. But like I said, you don't see it as often in this community as you do in something like Call of Duty. God damn, man. In Call of Duty, it's just the worst. So toxic. So fucking toxic. My god. So the living failures aren't necessarily a hard boss. I have a video up showing an easier way to deal with them. I kind of started at the beginning of that, where you pull one out to the edge and you just spend the whole fight just killing that one over and over as it respawns. It's an easy way to deal with it. I don't do it there. One sort of rushes over, and once that happens, then that particular strategy is over. You can Hunter's Mark out and try it again, or you can just finish the fight. I just go ahead and finish the fight because who gives a shit, you know? But if you want to see like the very easy way to deal with them, which is pretty much a guaranteed no-hit, then you can watch that video in my other playlists. I mean, it's easy to pull off unless one rushes over. So, and it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. So now we head to Maria. Good tea. So yeah, I mean, 99% of the people that I've met in the Soulsborne community have been really cool. So I don't want to give the impression that lots of people are elitist little bitches, but there are some of them. They are there, and I think that they work to give the community a bad name for some people. So I'm not a fan. I think we can all be helpful to one another, you know, be understanding of, you know, the same question being asked multiple times, you know. Who gives a shit, right? It's not ruining your fucking day. Why do you give a fuck? I spam L2 a bit too much in this fight, but that's alright. That's okay. We still win, so fuck it. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm just one of these, like, irritating kinds of people, and I feel like we should be like decent human beings in all areas of our life. You know, like, if you're going to be a good person in one area, be a good person in all areas. You know, and I think when somebody is sort of purposefully rude and a dick to people in an online community, then I think it sort of shows what kind of person they likely are, you know, outside of that. And it's spoiler alert, it's not good, right? This move here is pretty dangerous, and it might feel like there's not a tell for it, but if you watch, her swords will start to sort of glow like a red when she's right about to strike at you. So that's a good tell. So here, I just go ahead and I know that I'm going to do enough damage right there, right? But that AoE attack that she does when she's going into phase 3 can one-shot you. So you might want to be mindful of that if you start trying to attack her during her phase change. And if you're not confident in like your DPS, maybe play it safe and back off. I was arguably I was a bit reckless there, but I had a good. We'll say that I was fairly confident that I would be able to take her down with the R1 L1 L1 right there. So here I go light the lamp and the fishing hamlet, and then it's just, I mean, the rest of the run is Orphan and Lawrence. I don't know how many times I'm going to die to both of them. Probably a few. Probably a few. After this, I show like a quick clip. I go back and get Lawrence's skull from those two, I hesitate to call them hunters, but I guess that's what they are. Fuck it, hunters. It's possible that one of them is actually Amelia, but the lore is so fucking cryptic. Yeah, I go back and get rid of him and get Lawrence's skull. Here we go. Because you need Lawrence's skull to fight Lawrence, obviously. See, I hope most people coming into the Souls community have an overwhelmingly positive experience with people being helpful and being nice and respectful, and, you know, like I said, I think we should all be good people in all areas. You know, if you're going to participate in a community like this, you know, it's a good idea to just be nice, you know. You have the option of editing as you type, for fuck's sake. I don't exactly know why I'm going for the parry and the visceral here. Visceral attacks don't do a ton of damage, watch. Not a ton, but watch how much damage gets done in this. Right? You would think I would just keep doing that. Or start off with that, I mean. But, I don't know, I guess I was just having a moment. And I get fairly fucked a bit here. Some of these fucking NPC hunters are fucking harder than most bosses, man. Especially, like, the Bloody Crow of Canehurst. God damn. I mean, that fight isn't as hard as I think some people make it out to be. Maybe it's hard for them, just their playstyle, but it can be hard. It can be fairly difficult, yes. Eileen isn't as bad. I don't find Eileen to be all that hard, but the Bloody Crow, a little fucking difficult, I gotta be honest with you. So her, like, arcane attack doesn't do a ton of damage. I eat the damage here, because who cares? I know that I'm not going to use any vials, and I'm just going to Hunter's Mark back, so I don't care if I get hit. So I go grab Lawrence's skull, and I Hunter's Mark back to a dream. So yes, I hope all the new players coming into Bloodborne right now have overwhelmingly positive experiences with co-op help and the boards and the communities, should they seek them out. And next, it is the most difficult part of the run, Orphan and, and Lawrence. So, we'll see.